I'm kind of wondering about people who are real button pushers, and how that crops up. Because I don't know, I'm fairly sophisticated, fairly well educated in psychological terminology and all that other stuff. But those things persisted being a problem. I'll run into a particular personality, and I'll get obsessed with a negative judgment about that person, and something about them will bring out the worst in me.
Right.
And I thought I was beyond that.
You're not beyond that until you've changed the pattern. See? Now, I can give you some ideas of how to do it, but you're never beyond it until you've changed the pattern.
Which pattern?
The pattern of that response.
Oh.
See?
I need it spelled out to me.
That's okay. That's all right. See? We have habitual responses to things. Why does the subconscious learn that? We use the term coup sometimes for the body, mind, subconscious. Why does the coup respond in what apparently are these negative ways? It's out of protection. It's out of security. And it's out of the way it has learned to do that sometime in the past, and it was at least somewhat effective. Okay? And it never learned a different way. So every time this person comes up, their behavior will remind you of another behavior at another time where this reaction helped to protect you. Perhaps it protected you from feeling weak or helpless. Anger is sometimes used that way. Perhaps it protected you from becoming like that. All kinds of things are possible, but the basic thing in such a case is protection, security. Now, there's two ways to get beyond that. One is to take the things individually and sit down, preferably in a time when you're not actually confronted. But recall the situation and practice a different reaction. A different physical reaction, a mental reaction, and if you do those two, you'll have a different emotional reaction. Okay? So you bring it up again, what could I do differently? And you rehearse it. Now when it comes up again, there may still be enough memory to start the old pattern, but then you'll have a new one. As soon as you're aware of doing it, you can stop, relax the muscles, that's all very important, that breaks the pattern, and then practice the new pattern that you've rehearsed. See, if you don't have one to rehearse, your crew doesn't know what else to do.
So you create another channel of behavior.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then each time you do that, you'll strengthen that new behavior. And then it'll be easier and easier and easier. You won't have the old behavior unless you're very, very tense about something. Then the old behavior would tend to kick in because it's associated with tension.
A deeper level of survival.
Yeah. Right. Now, that's one way, and it's very effective. The other way, this seems like it takes longer, but overall it'll take care of more situations, and that's to continually practice building your confidence. You see, confidence, lots of things, but we'll say confidence is the most fundamental thing to learn. And it has both depth and breadth. Depth means how confident you are in relation to a specific thing. You might be confident walking, you might be confident swimming, you might be confident driving, you might be confident when you're talking with friends. Okay? That's depth. Specific things. Breadth is how many things you're confident about, in how many situations. So you might be confident driving and talking with friends and walking and swimming. That's the breadth of your confidence. So practicing, so when you say, well, I'm quite a confident person, probably in a certain number of areas. What you want to do is try and bring that confidence into areas in which you're not. That's extending the breadth. And then when you start that a little bit, deepening it in those areas where you're not really confident. And some of the things we've talked about before could be used for that too. Okay? So the reason this works is the more confident you become in your own power, in your own source, in your own love, in the natural goodness of the universe, whatever it might be, the less these other things then will affect you because they're based on security. The more confident you are, the more secure you feel. The more areas you're confident in, the more secure you feel in more areas. And the same behavior then will no longer affect you because it no longer is a threat to your security. That's a different approach.
Yeah, then is whatever the concept or ideal of Kanaloa, is that like totally confident?
Yes.
So that would be, as a visualization, would that be one way also to kind of
if you can, sure. Kanaloa is the name for an old Hawaiian spirit representing, at one level, total confidence. Okay? In legends was also a healer and a companion of the Creator God. But we use it as a symbol for total confidence because that's what the word means. And if you can imagine that spirit in some way, and imagine how that sense of it being totally confident, and then practice incorporating that into yourself, that's a kind of rehearsal, or what we sometimes call grokking. Why, that's a way to teach your subconscious how to be like that.
Does that exist on some plane? I mean, is there is it an archetype?
Of course. All the Hawaiian spirits that's what they are, is archetypes.
Because in Jungian psychology, you can contact an archetype. You can deliberately put yourself in association.
In the deeper understanding of Hawaiian philosophy, Hawaiian concepts, the word akua, which is usually translated as spirit, really means archetype. Or, that's a deeper meaning of it. Okay? And so, yes, all of these things, the most important of the spirits, let's say, can be considered as archetypes, which means they have an energy, they have a pattern that you can tune into and learn from.
And since they exist in the context of the Hawaiian spirit, then there would be a specifically Hawaiian feel or quality to that.
Well, it would be a specific feel. Hawaiians are human beings, don't forget that, okay? So confidence is confidence regardless of who you are and regardless of the culture. You might use other kinds of symbols and pictures of that and representations, but confidence is confidence. Now, if you have a sense of rapport with the Hawaiian way, then the Hawaiian spirits would be the ones that you could use. But if you have a different background, why you want to use something that you're more familiar with, that's already there as a learning process. Use some of the other archetypes from Western or Eastern traditions. Okay? The important thing is not that you use the Hawaiian, but that you use something that you can relate to, that has meaning for you.